example of higher self communication. Let's say you have a specific challenge or um, problem that you're going through, and you send out a signal for guidance, or you make a prayer, or you have an intention to receive guidance on the problem. And within a couple hours or within a couple days, you have a random conversation with a person at a gas station. So completely spontaneous. And you start striking up this conversation, and this guy or this woman starts telling you a little bit about their life, and you may not even bring up your challenge or your problem, but they begin to share aspects of their experience that are very much in resonance or in alignment with yours. And then an answer comes. You can ask for an answer, right, from the person, but it's often it's common for the answer to your question or the next thing that you need to just appear. And this probably has happened to all of you through like YouTube or through social media, through your phone. You're exploring a new topic, and then stuff just starts to show up. I think, of course, there's some kind of algorithm that tracks the stuff, tracks what you're looking at. But it also happens in a way that is like, I mean, you literally just heard of higher self last night. You've been thinking about it. You didn't even put it in Google yet, and now there's like some video from, Esther Hicks about an easy way to contact the higher self. So things like this are part of what I mean by an unfolding relationship. Uh, Holy Guardian Angel makes it sound like, a thing with wings, but it's really just communication with the deeper intelligence. It's just communication with a deeper level of yourself that from my experience is outside of space and time. So it is in the overview effect of not just your life, but thousands of incarnations. So its wisdom is immaculate compared to our conceptual knowledge and understanding of things. And so this contact or brushing up with this immaculate wisdom, it can happen in um, experiences of unity consciousness, or what Crowley said is union with God. When these planes of ourselves, or um, levels of ourself, the higher self level, and then this, physical level come into contact, there's often a lesson, a teaching, there's something that is being transmitted that that is of benefit to you, or that is of benefit to other people. And that's a common theme through all of these moments or experiences of mystical revelation and contact with the divine. It's often a message and a a power and a truth that's not just for the individual person, but for the benefit of other people as well. So not seeing the Holy Guardian Angel as purely just a climactic event, but seeing it as a deepening relationship and a deepening communication with the inner self, or with the inner teacher. That can be done through meditation and prayer. Even using things like tarot, for example, or I Ching. Um, One of the ways that that's used in the Western tradition is to see that it's the higher self that is communicating through the cards, or through the particular divination system. But most importantly is to acknowledge the communication that is already happening, the synchronicities that are already happening, the small, profound flow and movement of guidance in your life that is already occurring. When things show up unexpectedly, spontaneously, when things work out in ways that you couldn't put together even if you tried. This is a good example of a condition where you can have gratitude for the spontaneity and perfection of this organizing and guiding principle that is the higher self, the inner teacher. The entirety of Crowley's system, Thelema, is aimed at knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel. So it's actually like the thing to do in that particular system of magic. And there are other names for this, right? There's countless names for this. I call it higher self. He calls it holy guardian angel, inner teacher, inner master, inner guru, inner guide, the daemon, Daemon. Socrates, for example, had this daemon in his particular life, a guide that was there even as he drank the poison hemlock. There's a spiritual being that guided him through his life. So we have different versions and manifestations of the same particular concept. In Crowley's work, of course, there's debate over whether the holy guardian angel is a higher self or is the higher self, or whether it's just a distinct separate being that is like been assigned to you from birth to watch over you. And he did not help with clearing up the confusion on that, because in some places he said it's clearly your higher self. The Theosophists call it the higher self. So and so 20 different names for it. But in other places he said it was a distinct entity that is assigned to you. So Crowley was an unusual character in the sense that he deliberately attempted to confuse people and ridicule and make you feel stupid. So so that probably so that you'd inquire a little further and get to the bottom of this thing yourself. If there's contention or debate on what a thing is, our only option is to explore it ourselves and get to the bottom of it experientially. So there were a couple quotes that I wanted to share before we start the meditation. Just give me one moment. Okay. So this is Crowley again. Theosophists call him the higher self, silent watcher, or great master. The Golden Dawn calls him the genius. Gnostics say the logos. Zoroaster talks about uniting all these symbols into the form of a lion. Anna Kingsford calls him Adonai, parentheses, clothed with the sun. Buddhists call him Adi Buddha. The Bhagavad Gita calls him Vishnu. The I Ching calls him the great person. The Kabbalah calls him Jechida. We also get metaphysical analysis of his nature, deeper and deeper according to the subtlety of the writer. For this vision, it is all one same phenomenon, variously colored by our varying minds. Is, I believe, the first and the last of all spiritual experience. The end of the path of the wise is identity with him. And I wrote this here on the left side of the diagram. And this particular diagram here on the right is an example of what it is we're discussing. So the smaller circle is the incarnate, so that's you and your subtle bodies like the astral body, mental body. And within that is the higher self. And within that is the nature of experience, God / emptiness, nature of mind. So a good analogy came about this came from a Kabbalist named Christopher Liam, and he explained it by considering a geyser as an analogy. So you have water coming out of a geyser, and the flow of this water produces this this like rippling effect where the water's coming up and it's rippling down and it's making all these um like these mini whirlpools of water in itself. So all the rippling and the little whirlpools, little um whirlpools of water that are being created in the geyser, you can see all of these as incarnates, like other mind bodies. And the geyser itself, so the water that's coming out of the hole and producing all of these little flows and ripples, that's the higher self. So the higher self is the fountainhead, is the intelligence. And you can see the water itself as the Tao, as the nature of experience, as God, as emptiness. So it's not that you're attempting to attain this foreign thing that then manifests to you and gives you a message. It's literally like, imagine, take your hand as an analogy, as an example. Like your finger is a part of a much larger body, which is your entire physical body. So the finger can't uh you know manifest the entirety of the physical body in itself. The finger is the extension, is the essentially a termination point for this body that is vastly larger and more complex than itself. That's a great way of looking at uh, the higher self in comparison to you, the incarnate. You're just here, we're contacting or communing with a a, a deeper field of information, aspect of ourself. You are the higher self. The finger is an aspect. It is an extension. It is an extension of the body. So you are your higher self. Communication is continuous in the waking and dreaming state. Uh, as we've stated, higher self is the inner master. The hidden hand that is organized conditions so that spiritual awakening and lessons can occur. The higher self is intelligence, pure intelligence, in the same way that you are intelligence, right? Like your intelligence, the higher self is a level of intelligence of a higher or more complex magnitude. What we call you or self or reality is a spectrum of planes and intelligences. So this particular model here on the right is simplistic in the sense that it only has three things that are delineated, but within these three are many planes of what we could call self. So on a final note, I had a climactic knowledge and conversation moment on a meditation retreat that I did in June. And climactic in the sense that it was a kind of mystic revelation, visionary revealing of your life kind of level of experience. So it wasn't like the kind of communications I've had in dreams with the higher self, where the higher self gives me a specific message like, you know, look into this, or you should start writing, or start to write a book titled this, right? So that's all the deepening or the continuous communication that's happening, or part of acknowledging the communication that's occurring. This is very common in dreams. Dream interpretation is one of the royal roads of higher self communication and understanding.